The footage Yungeen Ace prayed would never leak is now everywhere, clear as day, showing him with Foolio's shooters before the hit. Remember how one of the shooters ratted him out for placing the hit on Foolio?
Ace had that money on his head, Ace had them put that 10K up, told me to slide, told me to smack Foolio.
Well, what Ace was caught saying and planning on the footage will keep him behind bars for life. Yungeen Ace's ties to Foolio's killers exposed. A clip now flooding Twitter, YouTube Shorts, and even police forums allegedly shows Yungeen Ace mere hours, possibly minutes, before Foolio was ambushed and gunned down, standing casually with two of the three men now charged in the homicide. And this ain't just online noise. One detective reportedly described the coordination behind Foolio's hit as something straight out of a military-style op. And now Ace's name is coming up again, not as a rapper, not as an artist, but as a possible accomplice. Could this clip link one of Jacksonville's most prominent rappers to the very men who executed Foolio in broad daylight, or is this just smoke with no fire? Within minutes of dropping on Reddit's Unsolved Hip-Hop Murders thread, it was clipped, reposted, dissected, and immediately picked up by blogs and IG pages like No Jumper and DJ Academics. The caption that followed was blunt: Yungeen Ace seen with Foolio's alleged killers before Tampa hit. Coincidence? The shortened question appears to show Ace at a Jacksonville studio party. Two faces in that video, Sean Gaithright and Davian Murphy, were later named by the Tampa Police Department as armed suspects in the murder of Charles Jones, aka Foolio. And the craziest part, law enforcement isn't denying any of it. At a press conference just days after the shooting, the Hillsborough County State Attorney confirmed they had visual evidence. He even said it on record.
Detectives used footage from the scene, license plate readers, and phone logs to identify two vehicles and link them back to the suspects.
But now, that same footage is being dissected frame by frame, not by cops, but by the internet. Fans, blogs, and even Foolio's inner circle are all asking the same question: what was Ace doing with them? And more importantly, what did he know before Foolio was executed in a hotel parking lot? But to understand the weight of this footage, you have to understand the history. Back in 2018, Yungeen Ace's brother and two of his closest friends were murdered in a drive-by shooting. It rocked the Jacksonville scene. Days later, Foolio's own cousin, Zion Brown, was shot dead in his home. Foolio opened up about the pain in a heartbreaking interview.
That night he died, so that's my head on. I'm like, damn, holding grudges with like that ain't like that shit like crushed me, bro.
Fast forward just a few months. Foolio is wearing a Rest in Piss 23-inch shirt mocking Ace's fallen brother. It was no longer about music. It was blood in, blood out. And over the next few years, that blood only flowed thicker. Ace got shot. Foolio got ambushed. Both lost close friends. To the outside world, it looked like beef. But if you watched the videos, read the subtweets, caught the comments on Clubhouse, you knew this was something else. And then Foolio was gone, gunned down in Tampa on what should have been a celebration weekend.
As I look up, I just see, you feel me, shooters. I just kept telling him to duck. He wasn't really saying much. I ain't really hear him say really, cause the gunfire was so loud. I already knew when I stopped the car, cause he wasn't responding. I heard him take his last, bro.
His driver, Omerta55, later gave a chilling account of those final moments, watching Foolio die in silence as gunfire shattered the car around them. And now, this new footage shows Ace side by side with the men who pulled the trigger. So, what now? Here's where things get even messier, because while Ace has publicly denied any connection to Foolio's death, brushing off rumors as noise and deflecting attention back to his music. In a recent interview, when asked directly about Foolio's death and whether he was involved, Ace said,
"People feel like I'm behind a lot, but I'm not. I'm not behind. I'm working, I'm grinding every day, I'm grinding, I got a family."
And while Ace's denial sounds definitive, the timeline doesn't. Because not even 2 weeks before Foolio's death, rumors had already begun bubbling online about unusual movement in Jacksonville, specifically around Ace's crew and a group of out-of-town hitters. By the time Foolio was in Tampa, those whispers turned into flat-out conspiracy theories. And now, with 3 men charged, 2 of whom were spotted with Ace in public footage, those theories don't sound so crazy anymore. Let's talk about the alleged killers. Isaiah Chance, a 21-year-old documented ATK member, likely acted as a lookout, tracking Foolio's movements. But the footage suggests his role was way more intimate than just being a distant observer. Rumors even claim he attended the party before the hit, blending in with the crowd like everyone else. Alicia Andrews, also 21, is associated with the suspects, also a lookout, not facing the death penalty due to pregnancy. The fact that Andrews was pregnant while helping plan someone's death adds another layer of coldness to this story. The sophistication of this operation becomes clear when you understand the chess game that was being played. Foolio Foolio had survived previous shootings and lost many friends to violence, reflecting the dangerous environment he navigated. Homie knew he was a target. He understood the risk better than most. He had experienced betrayal and violence before, but even someone as street smart and paranoid as Foolio couldn't have imagined that his enemies would get close enough to share his birthday cake before putting bullets in his body. The psychological profile of someone who can fake being your homie while planning your murder is truly disturbing. Sean Gathright, an 18-year-old believed to be one of the three shooters, had to maintain perfect composure while being in close proximity to his target for hours. Think about the level of self-control required to laugh at someone's jokes, participate in their celebration, maybe even take pictures with them, all while knowing you're about to take their life before the night is over. Rashad Murphy, age 30, is a documented member of the 1200 gang and is believed to be one of the three shooters. At 30 years old, Murphy was the OG of this operation, the seasoned veteran with enough experience to understand exactly what they were planning and what it would lead to. He was arrested on July 29, 2024, after a dramatic standoff with law enforcement in Jacksonville. The fact that he went out shooting when they came for him tells you everything about Murphy's mindset. He knew what he had done, and he knew what was coming. Davian Murphy, age 27, Rashad Murphy's cousin and a documented member of the 1200 gang, was perhaps the most chilling player in this whole operation. He was initially on the run for several months and was arrested on January 6, 2025 in Jacksonville. The fact that this dude managed to stay on the run for over 6 months while knowing that law enforcement was closing in on his accomplices shows the level of planning and preparation that went into this entire operation. The hotel situation itself reveals how detailed this setup really was.
Prior to us getting to the hotel, he had called and made reservations. And then we got to the hotel, he went in, checked in, and they told him that the rooms already been taken.
This wasn't just bad luck or poor planning. This was deliberate manipulation, designed to force Foolio and his crew into the exact vulnerable position the killers needed. Someone either messed with those reservations or made sure they would be unavailable, creating the perfect scenario for an ambush. Now here's the bomb. Multiple IG stories from just days before the murder, now archived and analyzed by fans, show Ace in the studio, dapping up both Sean and Davion. The footage is grainy, faces are shadowed, but frame-by-frame analysis cross-referencing tattoos and clothes has made it nearly impossible to deny. After Foolio was pronounced dead, several of Ace's known affiliates took to Instagram Live, not to mourn, but to clown.
Everyone get that down. Foolio, Lulio.
These weren't just disrespectful barbs, they were thinly veiled celebrations, and they came just hours after Foolio's death was confirmed. Coincidence or confirmation? But the real bombshell came when footage revealed how well they planned to infiltrate Foolio's circle. The execution. The shooting occurred in a hotel parking lot after Foolio was asked to leave an Airbnb, but what we now understand is that every move, every location change, every decision that led to that parking lot was orchestrated by people who had been playing the long game for months. The execution phase of this operation reveals coordination that would make military strategists jealous. Only 3 out of the 5 people linked to Foolio's murder pulled the trigger, but all 5 people are charged with murder because the level of planning and coordination between these 5 defendants was truly alarming. The attack involved the 3 assailants armed with a pistol and 2 rifles, and they attacked using a handgun and 2 rifles. The choice of weapons tells us everything about their mindset. This wasn't meant to be a quick hit and run. This was meant to be overwhelming, brutal, and absolutely certain. They brought enough firepower to eliminate not just their primary target, but anyone who might try to protect him. The timing of the execution reveals the psychological calculation that went into every aspect of this operation. Foolio was shot multiple times with a handgun equipped with an extended high-capacity magazine, fired over 30 times, and 2 rifles equipped with brass catchers. The use of brass catchers shows they were thinking about forensic evidence even in the heat of the moment.
I already knew when I stopped the car because he wasn't responding. I heard him take his last breath. When I woke up, I asked some people and they told me, like, they confirmed it. I ain't believe it though.
The surveillance video from the scene shows the clinical precision of the attack.
This barrage of gunfire also struck 3 additional victims who miraculously survived this incident. Let's look at this video. This is at the hotel, and you can see the shooters are getting in position for their planned out murder. And they are shooting at Charles now, and you can see that he's the passenger in that car that's moving and trying to flee. And again, they're still shooting at him.
The legal consequences are still unfolding, but the scope of the charges tells us everything about how seriously authorities are taking this case. All 5 suspects face first-degree murder charges, with Sean, Gathright, Rashad Murphy, and Davion Murphy potentially facing the death penalty. Rashad Murphy also faces 3 counts of attempted first-degree murder. The fact that prosecutors are seeking the death penalty shows they understand the calculated nature of this execution.
So Yungeen Ace has long been known in Jacksonville. We are consistently monitoring those groups. We have people that are always watching them. I won't speak to the chief's investigation. That's up to TPD. We don't have an investigation on him right now, but he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it. And that's for the betterment of our community.
But even law enforcement's surveillance capabilities couldn't prevent this execution because it was carried out by people who were supposed to be on the inside. The aftermath, ATK versus KTA legacy, and Yungeen Ace's new reality. Now that the smoke is cleared and Foolio's body is in the ground, let's talk about what this execution really means for the streets of Jacksonville and how it's changed the entire game for everyone involved. The ATK versus KTA beef didn't start with Foolio's death, and it damn sure didn't end with it either. But what we're witnessing now is a complete shift in power dynamics that's got every player in Jacksonville moving different. The feud between ATK, Ace's top killers, and KTA, Kill Them All, is a violent rivalry between 2 Jacksonville, Florida-based gangs, deeply tied to the local rap scene. But this beef runs way deeper than just music. We're talking about territorial control, drug money, respect, and generational hatred that's been passed down through families like some twisted inheritance. It likely began in May 2017 with the killing of Zion Malik Brown, cousin of KTA-affiliated rapper Foolio, sparking a cycle of retaliatory violence.
When you heard about the murder, how'd you feel?
I was crushed, cause it's like I could have saved him, like, you know, I could have, like, cause I was like on the phone with him, like he called me, he was like, "Big cuz," that's my cousin, you know what I'm saying? He like, "Cuz, let me come to Daytona with you. I'm trying to come to Daytona." I was mad at him for a dumb reason. Like, I straight told him, "No, bro, you can't come with me. Like, I don't f you right now." Hung up on him. That night he died, so that fucked my head up.
This clip shows how personal this beef really was for Foolio. His cousin's death wasn't just another casualty in the streets, it was family, and that made everything that came after much more personal and much more deadly. Rappers like Yungeen Ace and Foolio have used their music to taunt rivals, with tracks like Who I Smoke, ATK, and When I See You, KTA, gaining millions of views. These songs often reference deceased rivals, escalating tensions. The music became a weapon of psychological warfare, with each diss track serving as a public declaration of disrespect that demanded retaliation.
Well, after Yungeen Ace gets shot and his brother gets killed, you wore a t-shirt that said "Rest in Piss 23."
Yeah.
With a picture of him on the shirt?
Yeah.
Okay. Why do that?
It was just like, if you ain't with my hood, you like, it was just like it was just a lot of like talking and like undercover, like a lot of shit being said. So I ain't the type, like, I'm a bold person. I'm gonna put a name on anything I say, you know what I'm saying? Like, people that do tit for tat, sneak this, and so when I do something, I'm gonna go all the way, you know what I'm saying? So that's what I did. I went all the way and I addressed it. Yeah.
This level of disrespect wasn't just about sending messages. It was about psychological warfare designed to break your enemy's spirit and provoke them into making emotional decisions that would lead to their downfall. But now that Foolio is dead, Yungeen Ace finds himself in a completely different position. The connection to Yungeen Ace adds another layer of street politics to this story. Yungeen Ace has publicly stated he was on good terms with Foolio before his death and denied any role in the murder. But a viral video surfaced featuring an unidentified man wearing a ski mask who claimed to be the shooter and alleged that Yungeen Ace paid him $10,000 to carry out the act. Whether this claim is true or not, it demonstrates how the execution phase of this operation was designed to send messages throughout the entire Jacksonville street scene.
I don't know him. I never seen him before in my life.
Yungeen Ace's denial of any personal relationship with Foolio creates an interesting contradiction with other evidence.
Well, you've never met him in person. Have the two of you actually talked on the phone?
Never talked.
So when he said that you guys had talked, you're saying that's not true?
No, I ain't saying that. No, we don't. He don't. It's like, we done DM'd each other before.
This admission that they had been communicating through DMs suggests that even the main players in this beef had some level of communication, which makes the intimate betrayal captured in the new footage even more significant. Sheriff TK Waters has taken a strong stance against gang violence, particularly focusing on the role of drill music, which he believes exacerbates local crime. The heat on Ace has intensified to levels that most street dudes couldn't imagine dealing with.
Jacksonville police and
I don't know how they be doing it, but they always call around and cancel my shows. What's up with y'all? What's going on? Why y'all want to cancel my show? I don't even live there in Jacksonville. Why y'all want to cancel my show? Why y'all trying to up my money? Yeah, man, y'all trying to up my life. Cause y'all worry about what I got going on. I ain't dying, I ain't fucking with y'all. Y'all better leave me the fuck alone.
This clip shows the level of pressure law enforcement is putting on Ace. They're not just watching him, they're actively interfering with his ability to make money and live his life. That's the kind of heat that makes even the hardest street dudes consider relocating permanently. Sheriff Waters has emphasized that Yungeen Ace is closely monitored by the Jacksonville Sheriff's Office, JSO. The sheriff's statement that he can't move around in Jacksonville without us knowing about it essentially means Ace is living under constant surveillance. That's not just inconvenient, that's psychological torture designed to make him leave the city permanently. Waters has also threatened RICO charges against ATK, suggesting that the group may be investigated as a criminal organization. RICO charges would mean they're treating ATK like an organized crime family, which carries federal sentences that could put everyone involved away for life. That's the kind of pressure that breaks up crews and forces people to flip on each other. The psychological impact on Ace has been visible in his recent behavior and statements.
I mean, some people feel like you were behind that.
I'm sure, but people feel like I'm behind a lot. But I'm not. I'm not behind. I'm working. I'm grinding every day. I'm grinding. I got a family. I'm working. I'm grinding. I'm trying to be big. I'm trying to be big.
You can hear in his voice that the constant accusations and surveillance are wearing on him mentally.
For all of them and shit, I know this is a tragic loss for them and shit like that. So I hope they get through this. Grieving, cause I've been through this before. So I hope they can get through this and find a new stepping stone and be great in life. You know what I'm saying?
This statement shows a more reflective side of Ace, almost like he's trying to distance himself from the violence and focus on legitimate success. But the streets don't always let you walk away that easily. In December 2024, Yungeen Ace announced the dissolution of the ATK collective, citing internal issues such as the group's failure to cover funeral and legal fees. This announcement represents a major shift in how Ace is moving. Breaking up ATK could be seen as an attempt to distance himself from the criminal organization allegations, but it also leaves him more vulnerable on the streets.
That was last week.
Yeah, that was.
But it's been like, he's dropping, like, we might need to double back.
I haven't been 100% tuned in. So what, there's a lot of Florida going on?
A lot of what's the Yungeen Ace?
His boys?
Yeah, been dropping like 6 of them.
This clip suggests that even with Foolio dead, the violence hasn't stopped. Ace's associates are still getting killed, which means the beef is still active and he's still a target. Winning one battle doesn't mean you've won the war. The reality of Ace's current situation is complex. On one hand, he's achieved a level of success that most street rappers never reach. His music has millions of views, he's making real money, and he's building a legitimate career. But on the other hand, he's trapped in a cycle of violence and police harassment that makes it almost impossible to enjoy that success.
Like, you never know what can happen. You know, like, it ain't no, you know what I'm saying? We want to kill each other. Nah, we just mutual.
This clip from a previous Foolio interview shows how he thought the beef might eventually end peacefully, making his murder even more tragic because it shows he was open to squashing the beef. Now Ace has to live with the knowledge that any potential for peace died with Foolio. The psychological toll of this lifestyle is evident in everything Ace does now. Every public appearance, every social media post, every business decision has to be calculated with the understanding that he's being watched by law enforcement, monitored by enemies, and judged by a public that sees him as either a success story or a cautionary tale. Will he be arrested? Maybe. Maybe not. But one thing is clear. This beef has evolved. What started as a local gang conflict has morphed into a nationally recognized violent rivalry, and law enforcement is treating it that way. Jacksonville Sheriff TK Waters has made ATK a target for potential RICO charges, pointing to their organized criminal activity. It marks a major shift in how gang violence is prosecuted, less like street beef, more like dismantling a mafia. Click on one of the cards on your screen to see more videos like this.